All right, thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Prime Sports Horse Report, our show edition. That's right, because starting next week, we're going to have reports. John is going to do some condensed reports. Right now, we have it scheduled for Tuesday, maybe Thursday, but definitely a couple days a week, unless, of course, something comes up on John's schedule. But that's starting next week, so keep in mind that will not include our weekly or bi-weekly show. So, but this is our show, and we are going to talk about two races, one at Belmont, one at Churchill Downs. And a matter of fact, before we even get to that Churchill Downs race, the Stephen Foster, John, that is actually a pretty good race. I wish these horses were in the Belmont Stakes.
Well, it happens to be a these couldn't be in the Belmont Stakes.
I know, right? I wish the sheet numbers were in the Belmont Stakes for these horses.
Okay. Meanwhile, Tis the Law ran a 5 for anyone interested in sheet numbers, so that was okay. Believe it or not, Gamine, the filly that Baffert sent out on Belmont Stakes, they actually ran a 2. Horse I ran in a race.
What's that noise?
A few races earlier. It's a race that I just turned off. Go ahead.
Right? I thought I was hearing something. Okay.
You were hearing a race. You were hearing.
Oh, you got a race going on?
No, you were hearing the 7th race from Losell. It's fine.
Okay, good. I'm glad. No, I thought there was something. I thought we had some sort of technical difficulty.
No.
Did you win the race?
I didn't play the race. It was just on in the background, so I turned it on.
All right. So, yeah, actually, let's see, what was that? That was the Belmont Stakes. And that was, by the way, that was your win. And even though they were favorites, as you said, hey, you know, sometimes you just gotta take what they give you. And
well, you also turned a even money, a 4 to 5 shot into a
$20.
Into a 10 to 1 shot, which is good.
Yes, a $20 exacta.
Right.
Absolutely. So. That was a very good play. And that came after
you hit the grass race.
Yep, we hit the exacta at Belmont. That was a 16 to 1 shot that just my number one, Kenthaka, barely almost won that race. And that was one of those races where, because they had the 2 turns, it actually does seem like it's longer than it is. Because when there's only 1 turn, like on a 6 furlong race, it just seems like it goes really fast. But on 2 turns, it seems like it's because like he's leading the race, and I'm like, I can tell the favorite's coming on the outside, and I'm just sitting there. I'm going, where is the freaking finish line? It couldn't come fast enough. And sure enough, it didn't come fast enough. Look, it would have been it probably would have been a $200 exacta if the one would have won.
Oh, yeah, at least. Maybe more than that.
But anyway, if you were tuning in last week, we went 2 for 2. So it's a good way for us to hopefully start a little winning streak here as we go into, we're going to continue some Belmont races today. And then we're also going to have that Churchill race coming up in just a minute. By the way, I'm going to throw in a bonus pick because I was deciding on 7 or 9 at Belmont, race 7 or race 9. I decided that we would do race 9. And race 7, not that it should be like a bonus pick because it's not a long shot, but Mother's a pick at 4 to 1. I just decided to go with. I noticed that Mother ran a 5, and by the way, it was also at 6.5 furlongs. Ran a 5, won that race, and then came back a month later under the 6-week timetable you had talked about, bounced to a 7, then a 12 a couple months later. So after an all-time high 5, he did that. Okay, I'm like losing my momentum here, 7-12. But I like the fact that he came back at Belmont in his last race earlier this month, ran a 9. So if he can continue to turn back around in his favor, you got Baffert, you got Rosario. So I figured, why not? But again, it's not a big play because he's only 4 to 1.
Well, you may get a price because she ran so poorly last time out. So a lot of times people see what you did in the last race and bet off of that, which is not a good way to gamble. But that's why you may get a price because she's coming off of a poor performance last time out. but she certainly has every right to turn around and win this race, no question about it. Let's do the ninth race at
Yes.
Belmont first. This is the 42nd running of the True North. It's a Grade 2 event. It's a $150,000 stake race, and it's for older horses, males, and geldings. So let's get right to it.
All right. Yeah, this was a race where when I look at the two favorites, the 7 and the 8, I felt that they were vulnerable as favorites. And so I decided to go with I'm trying to hit the big one here with a couple of long shots, 3 and 5. The 3 is a 10-1 shot, the 5 is a 10-1 shot. But yeah, I don't know how you feel about the 7 and 8 as being vulnerable. The reason I think they're vulnerable, first race of the year for Promises Fulfilled. And in his last two races last year, he had a 15 and an 11, finishing sixth in back-to-back races. So that would be especially for a horse who's a heavy favorite. I don't have a problem saying, you know what, go ahead and prove it to me at least in this race as a heavy favorite after those two. And then the 8, Forenzi Fire. The reason I feel like he may be vulnerable, you have a huge trainer change here that started in the last race. So the horse was going really well under Jason Service. And then in his first race with Kelly, he ran a 7. It wasn't sloppy conditions, at 12 lengths back running fourth. So why not? You know, you got a trainer change. The horse did not respond with the new trainer. And he's also a heavy favorite. So I think this is not a bad race for me to go after those long shots, the 3 and the 5.
I agree with your analysis 100%. Promises Fulfilled, who will be even money or less in this race, coming off of a layoff since last October 4th. And you're right, he finished the season on a low note last year with two poor performances. And if you look at his sheet closely, it takes him a race or two to get going. Last year he came off of a layoff, ran a 9, then improved to the 5, and the 4. If he comes out of the box and runs anything less than a 5, he doesn't have to win this race at all, and he's going to be a short price. I agree with you on that one, and I agree with you on your assessment as far as Forenzi Fire is concerned. You know, this was one of those horses that belonged to one of those super trainers that was suspended for a long time, and that's the case with Jason Service and George Navarro. So I avoid playing those guys' horses, at least for the time being. I happen to like the 3 horse in here, Wicked North. I agree with you. Listen, this horse ran a 5, 2 starts back, bounced to the 10, now has some time off. Linda Rice won a couple of races over the last couple of days. This horse is 10-1. Nothing wrong with this horse. Certainly the right horse, I think, to be king at the price. You're getting weight from the rest of the field as well.
Yeah, and also 1-for-1 at Belmont, 4 wins in 6 races on dirt. Because remember, this horse is 0-for-13 on turf.
Right. Well, he doesn't belong on turf.
Yeah, so when you take a look at 6-for-22, you definitely have to keep in mind he's 0-for-13 on turf.
Right. Well, that's an excellent point.
And then the other long shot I went with was Yorktown.
If you like Yorktown, though, you could also make a case for the 1-horse Diamond King.
Okay.
They're somewhat similar. You know, Diamond King has a 5 and 6 last year. Yorktown has a 7, and he has a 6 this year. Ran a 6 last time out for his new trainer, so that's a positive sign. And you're getting 10-1, which is also a positive sign. But I think the 3, Wicked North, is the right horse to be king.
All right, so the 1 and the 5 and the 3, but we both agree on the 3, so that's a good one. So if you had to make a play, what would the play be officially? Would you do a win, or would you do like an exacta with the 3 and the 1?
Well, you could do that, but make sure you make some sort of win and place bet on the horse. If you're getting anywhere near the 10-1 he's listed at, that becomes a must play.
All right, yeah, I figured 3-5 exacta. That's the way I'll go. And put a couple of bucks on, and like you said, win in place on the 3 and the 5. Okay, let's go to the race number 10 at Churchill Downs. This is the big one of the weekend, the Stephen Foster Grade 2, and this is, let's see, Let's just see here. This is yeah, grade 2, $500,000 purse, mile and an eighth. Start with the one Fearless. This is going to be one of my long shot horses. Why not? You got a horse who has improved the last 3 races, 12.86. That's perfect. Ran that 6 at Churchill. And you have the combo of Pletcher Velazquez. This horse is 3 years younger than the heavy favorite in the race. Hopefully that's an advantage. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But yeah, I think also Pirate's Punch is another horse I'm going to put into my exacta at 15-1. Same situation. Last 3 races, 11.76. Bounced to the 11 after race, had the 5 in January. I'm a little bit concerned 0 for 3 at Churchill. That's why I like the 1 over the 2. But I'm going to put the 1 and a 2 in an exacta with another horse we'll talk about. So what do you think about those 2 horses first?
Well, they both certainly have a chance. You know, here's the situation in a nutshell. You have one horse in here, number 5, Tom's d'Etat, who's just flat out faster than the rest of these. He is a 7-year-old, but he still seems to be firing away. After that horse, the rest of the field is basically within a point or 2 of each other. So certainly you're doing the right thing by looking for value and picking a 12-1 and a 15-1 Fearless and Pirates Punch. They both certainly will be used by me in the exacta, even if I'm playing the favorite, because I'll put him on top of those 2 horses. One other long-priced horse that I think deserves a look is number 7, Silver Dust. This horse comes from the Brett Calhoun barn, and this is a fast horse, and I expect him to run well tomorrow as well. But again, I think Tom's d'Etat is better than these, and I think he's the most likely winner in the race. I would put the 5 over the 1 Fearless, the 2 Pirates Punch, and the 7 Silver Dust in exactas or tries, however you want to play it. But that's the way that I would attack the race.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm actually going to go 1, 2, 8. I'm going to do that exacta. The 8 is the second choice, Owendale. You got Cox is a good trainer. It's interesting. You take a look at this horse. Last April, Owendale ran a 5, and it was a grade 3 win. And then after that, 7, 7, 10. So then in September, he goes out and runs a 5 again. That's another grade 3 win. What happens after that? 17, 8, 7. So what's happened since then? 2 races. This is his 3rd. So I figure, hey, if this trend continues, maybe I get another 5 out of Owendale at 4-1. But look, he's raced in a lot of big races, grade 1 races, things of that nature. Preakness, Breeders' Cup Classic, Travers. Like I said, good trainer. And then when I'm taking a look at the 5, the one thing because we always want to beat the favorites. We want an excuse to get rid of the favorites. So one of the things I do notice is, and it's a small thing, but hey, you know what? We're always looking for edges on the heavy favorites, is the rider change. Rosario is at the Belmont. He's not available. Rosario with this horse is like undefeated. You've got Rosario and this horse wins every time. You take Rosario off the horse, especially when you go to a big drop like Mena, who I don't think's ever been on this horse before, and this horse has not won as many times as he has with Rosario on board.
Well, Rosario's staying in New York because they got 4 stakes tomorrow, and I'm sure he's in all of them. And it probably equals to more than the 500,000 this person's,
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah. But I understand what you're saying. But listen,
we're always looking for ways to. That's why I said I'm nitpicking ways to find some excuse to get rid of the even money shot.
You're always supposed to try to beat the favorites.
Yeah.
No question about it. And that's the only way to be a success in this game is by doing that. That being said, sometimes you have to take what they give.
Yes, understood.
And that just may be the case here. It was like Tiz the Law last week. We thought he was the best horse in the race.
And he was.
We tried to figure out a way to make money with a 4 to 5 shot, and we did.
Yeah. And by the way, the other thing too is as we talked about the 1 and the 2, the 5, the heavy favorite, the last time out he ran a 6. The 1 and the 2 last time out ran 6s.
Exactly. But the question is, who runs more sixes?
Oh, yeah, we all know that. We all know who's the better horse. What about the 6? This horse, it's interesting.
Listen, at 5-2, he could win. He's going to win without me. I think he'll probably win without you too.
Yeah, absolutely. What I noticed is
5 and 6 on the same ticket. That's for sure.
Yeah, what I noticed about this horse is that he's got 3 7s, and they've all been at 1.125 miles.
Okay.
So he could run another 7. That ain't going to get it done.
No, that's what I'm saying. A 7 may not be good enough tomorrow. That's the problem.
And why did you tell me what was the particular reason on Silver Dust as a long shot? I noticed
it just like he was circling around and had a chance to run a good race. He had excuses for his poor efforts, and I think he's going to be every bit of 15-1, and I think he has a shot to run a 6 or 7 tomorrow. And if that's the case, at the price, he's certainly worth a use.
All right. So again, you're going to go 5 with the 1 and the 2.
5 over 127.
5 over 127. All right. And I'm going to go 128 in the Stephen Foster. All right. What's coming up next week? What's the schedule like? Do you know already?
No. We'll know during the week. Nothing's really going on in Southern California. They were at Los Alamitos for the next 7 racing days, and then they go to Del Mar, and Belmont's winding down. I guess, Saratoga starts July 17th, so that's a couple of weeks away, and I'm sure they'll take the week off leading into Saratoga. The whole question is whether they're going to be fans or not, and nobody knows anything at this point. So
yeah, it's New York. So it's sort of like California. They already said that they weren't going to have fans at the PGA Championship. That's the first thing I heard. No fans, PGA Championship. And I was like, wait a second, that's in August. And then the next thing I remember them saying, oh, that's right, it's in San Francisco.
Yeah, okay.
Of course.
All right, enough said.
Yeah.
we know the route.
And the Kentucky Derby, they said they're going to have fans. And
that's September 5th.
Of course they're going to have fans. I mean, that's the only reason to run the Kentucky Derby is for fans.
But that's also the reason they moved it till September 5th so they can have fans.
Absolutely. And I think they will have – it's not going to be like it has been over the years. How many fans do they normally have there?
I think they cap it at like 120,000.
So what do you think? They'll get half as much?
Probably. They're going to have at least half as much. I'm sure there'll be people that want to go, but they're only going to let in half as much, I guess.
All right, John. So again, next week you'll start your condensed weekly reports. It'll be
the weekend wrap on Mondays or Tuesdays.
Yes.
Followed by the preview on Thursdays. Yep. Followed by the show on Friday.
That's it, John. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
All right, buddy. Be good. Talk to you soon.